Hey guys, I'm Noah.
And I'm Matthew.
Welcome to Perspective, where we give you a new look on anything and everything. Today, we're going to be talking about apocalypses. So, Matthew, let's start off with the zombie apocalypse.
Of course.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what everybody's talking about these days. How would you think to survive? Starts out out of the blue. You don't have any plans or don't expect it at all. It happens. What do you do?
For sure, you want to find a safe place. Stay out of the open. Find weapons or stock up on weapons. Find a way to keep them out. And maybe a fine entrance/exit.
Small entrance exit. Where would you want to stay? Because see, I would probably go to Costco or someplace of that sort, a very large store, because normally they have very few entrances and lots of space, lots of like storing, like not storing, like preservatives.
Yeah, there's a lot of food.
And then there's beds and stuff you can take in, survivors and things, and then hopefully there'd be some sort of like knives or weapons there if you need them. You wouldn't necessarily need guns for this.
There'd be some stuff, yeah. I mean, like there'd be kitchen knives or.
And there's a gas station there, so you could siphon the gas off if there's any left after people freak out. But
yeah, who knows if there will be anything left at Costco after the apocalypse occurs.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then yeah, see, I wouldn't. So many people that we talk to, they go for guns. They're like, oh, a gun would be the best thing to use. But see, I'd go with a sword sort of thing, because for one, they're much quieter, and normal in almost every zombie flick, zombie like story, zombies are attracted by noise. So if you take out that factor, you're in a much safer place. You just have to like keep your sword like strong and upkeep it, but also you need to know how to use it, because it's kind of useless if you get it stuck in the zombie constantly.
Right. I think it just depends completely on whether or not zombies are attracted to sound.
Yeah. And so and then that brings us to the question: what sort of zombies are we looking at? Are we looking at the Walking Dead series, the 28 Days Later, the
World War Z. I doubt it's anything like World War Z.
World War Z.
I doubt they're fast.
Even World War Z movie, it wasn't like the World War Z book, which was slow zombies. They changed it for the movie, but then there's also like Zombieland or Shaun of the Dead.
Zombieland's completely for humor, so I mean,
it's still a zombie like thing. That. But that's the one problem. You never know what you're going to like get.
That's why you have to figure out quick and play it by ear. And that almost your survival strategy almost depends on that. So
yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do. Once you get a safe place, you want to observe the zombies. Probably that's what a lot of people, like a lot of TV shows, they don't even notice. They just get surprised by something new that happens to a zombie. Like, oh look, can run. Didn't know that.
Also, you want to definitely find either a TV or radio, because that's a great way to stay informed of what's happening. Who knows if there still would be a bunch of TV shows going on or news. But, I mean, you can find out things about the zombies for the first couple weeks through TV or radio.
Hopefully the might not work, but
I mean, the CDC may
hopefully, unless
show
the CDC
something or
yeah. And then generator. You'd really need a generator for this, because a lot of times you don't have power because there's nothing creating and storing the power for you to like use. So you need a gas power, maybe collect solar panels if you're like smart enough how to use solar panels, something like that.
I mean, yeah, you kind of need that, but you don't really have to have air conditioning or anything to that extent. Really, I mean, like at Costco, there'd be a bunch of batteries. That's really batteries. You can have a flashlight. You can have.
Yeah, the difficulty would be keeping the lights on. You'd really need a constant thing of some like source of power, because in that like supermarket or whatever it is that you're in, not having lights could be deadly.
Right. I mean, there's like gas lanterns. There's electric lanterns. Like.
And then you
with
need
the,
you need gas for those things and stuff. But
you need little propane bottles. It's nothing.
if you have enough people with you, you could always set people in multiple areas of the place and have like fires going.
Yeah. Yeah.
In like the trash bins or whatever, and then those keep light all around, and people will be constantly like fixing those up.
Right. Or you could have like battery powered lanterns or something to that extent.
Then your next step is clearing out around you so you don't have to worry about them getting in.
Right, and setting up barriers,
things like that.
And one thing with Costco is there's usually a large steel door of some sort. That would be great for keeping them out.
That's true. And then you've got the like front door, which you can easily block off with boards or anything basically, because it's so small.
Right, and there's almost no windows.
Yeah, because they don't need windows. But then you'd have to, along with like observing the zombies to see if they are like walkers, runners, if they're intelligent or not. You'd also have to learn how it spreads, if it's directly from bite, if it's
Scratch.
if it's scratch, or what's the thing, if it's
ingesting blood
or getting it on into if it combines with your blood, if it's like a disease, or if it's like The Walking Dead where there's an STD, or like The Walking Dead where it's in everybody, and once you die, your brain parts of it come back. Because once you figure that out, you can know directly like what to be looking for to kill the zombies.
Yeah, and yeah, like similar to like World War Z, how he can tape his arms just because all it needs is a bite. He can get scratched and he's fine.
Or it was like that very beginning of the World War Z. He's on the roof and he like stops for a sec because he's observed the zombies. He was able to know whether he might be in danger or not because he's seen how these people have changed.
And also, when he's in Israel, how he learns basically how to cure the disease. That those who were sick were not getting attacked by the zombies, and so
because they were weaker.
Right.
So basically, the more you know about your enemy, the more chance you have of surviving it.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's it for zombie apocalypses for now. Let's move on to other types of apocalypses. Like, I don't know. What would you think of other apocalypses? There's the alien invasions that people that are some like Independence Day and things like that. But there have been a lot of places that have like discussed and talked about if there was a like alien invasion. We would most likely be in trouble just with the fact that if there's another like civilization out there that's capable of reaching us,
their technology
it's already so much more advanced that we wouldn't be able to do anything.
Right.
At most, we'd have to hope that their first goal wasn't to kill us and take over, because
or another hope is that the environment here is so different from the environment at whatever planet they're at that either they die because of it, or they're slowed down, they're hindered by being ill prepared for the environment here.
That's true, because So far, as we've been able to view, there's been so little that is any other planets that are like ours. So another thought is that we are way ahead of everybody else, or that if there are things out there, they wouldn't be thought of as a danger because we haven't been able to take notice of them yet, or they're so radically different from how we view things. Like whenever you think of like aliens or things like in movies or things, almost all of the ones that are sentient resemble us a lot.
Right.
They look different, but on the inside, they're basically humans from different planets with different appearances.
And alien life forms could go as far as like bacteria or plants, any living thing that's on a planet that is not Earth could be considered a living or a alien life form. And I believe that they found a planet. I don't remember. I remember reading somewhere that there was a green planet with water as well, and green was caused by plants. So therefore, there's an alien life form. But that doesn't mean there's any way it can harm us.
Yeah, there's another thought. Even what if like we think of things. Maybe we think like maybe it's smaller than us. Maybe it's like bacteria. What if we are the bacteria to that other planet, and we don't realize it?
What if? I mean,
the what ifs, yes. It's so crazy. But okay, back to the actual like aliens invade. What do? Do you wait it out and see if they're evil, like they want to destroy us, or do you like immediately try to find a place that's away from wherever they attack first?
I think you get ready, but don't do anything until you know that they're bad. You get ready for the worst, but if the worst doesn't happen, then you're fine.
Okay. See, I'm more of a extreme thinker. I'd probably go find like, even if I'm not like moving out of places, I'd probably go on a vacation or something.
But where do you go?
I'd go out to the forest or something because I'd bring a radio or something, but go out to where it's very low populated, because if these aliens are intelligent enough and have the capabilities to like get to us, then they're going to be if they're attacking, they're going to be attacking where there's people so that they can take over quicker. Well, if I'm not there, I'm not dead.
I mean, yeah.
No, if I'm not there, they're not going to.
But at the same time, they could be intelligent enough to track you and know where you are.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm one guy. Do they really? Do you think their
They
focus
will
is
at
on
one point.
Well, at one point, but maybe I'll be dead before then. Because I'm going to a forest. I'm not a very good nature person. I think our own natural life could kill me before anything.
My thought was also maybe a deserted island or something.
I'm going swimming. Antarctica.
Yeah. And then I thought of Pacific Rim, and I was like, maybe not.
I'll go to Antarctica. The Inuit people might accept me.
Or the penguins.
The penguins. I'll be a penguin. That's what I'll do. I'll bring along a whole bunch of black and white paint, and then in the mornings I'll just like paint myself and waddle around.
And also, an interesting thought that I just had was, would the alien life forms also attack our animals, our other animals that live here?
Maybe. I mean, they're probably killing them anyways if they're destroying all of us, because they most likely use explosives or something of the sort.
Also, I mean, assuming they're intelligent, who knows if they're intelligent enough to know that these animals if they want to take over the world, how do they know which animals they have to take over in order to take over the world?
they'll probably figure it out if they're that smart.
True.
I mean,
The ones pointing guns at them will be the ones who stay in. They know that.
Yeah, the ones that can actually pose a threat. Okay, and then there's other more like
The classic 2012 apocalypse.
oh yeah, there's
What
more
do
like
you do?
realistic apocalypses though, things like epidemics or
nuclear
like,
fallout.
nuclear fallout, or even natural disasters like.
Or like the similar to the dinosaurs, you know how there was an asteroid and you know it wiped out all the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, an asteroid. Matthew.
There were air quotes. By the
Air
way.
quotes around that asteroid. Why is that, Matthew?
Because.
Do you think aliens did it?
Yeah, no.
The dinosaurs pointed guns at the aliens.
I don't know what happened, but
The funny thing is, this isn't any apocalypse talk, but scientists don't actually know what color dinosaurs were.
Right.
So the Tyrannosaurus Rex could be pink with polka dots.
could also have feathers.
Exactly. How funny would that be?
It would be rather hilarious, actually.
What if it was like a peacock? Its head was just like multicolored feathers.
All they know is the shape.
Yeah. Okay, back to the apocalypses. So, talking about actual, like, things that could happen, epidemics, nuclear fallout, other things like that, you can't really, there's not a good way to form plans for those, because if it's sickness especially, it's so broad of what could happen that you wouldn't be able to protect yourself from it, because you would never know if you catch it or not, because you'd need like research to be going on, but you wouldn't be able to keep in touch with that research unless you stayed close to it, where you'd have the possibility of getting sick.
At this point, I think there's too many people in the world for a disease to wipe out the entire world.
Oh no, absolutely, it wouldn't wipe out the entire world, especially with natural selection.
Right. And because it would take so long to actually kill the 6 billion people in the world, that research would develop enough to either find a cure or a vaccine, some way to prevent or get rid of the disease.
But if we're going on to talk about nuclear fallout in a minute, what if a disease has been manufactured so that its spread rate is off the charts, more than any other disease like the plague or like flus or any of that has ever been recorded?
I still think it would have to take at least a year. I mean, I'm not doing any scientific data or testing on how quick a disease can actually spread and kill. But, I mean, if it were to kill, it would have to kill, I don't know what the math is, but a lot of people a day in order for it to really be effective quick.
Yeah, the one way that they could do things, I don't know if this has ever been like tested or things, but it's probably been discussed. If you find a really like well populated airports and seaports, if you have enough people who are wanting to spread this, then all you have to do is this is probably easier for people who actually want to do it than I can imagine, but get through security with those like diseases and then just spread them in the plane or whatever, and as people spread out throughout each airport that they go to, it'll continue spreading, and then from there it's like it's just connected to everybody. But that's just a way out there thing. So yeah,
the odds of this entire thing happening, well, I mean, the odds of an apocalypse happening anytime soon, I think, are very rare.
They're very low, but that doesn't mean they won't happen.
Right. You never know.
And then there's nuclear fallout, which we've been looking at for years. That could possibly happen, especially with the recent Syrian.
The most likely to happen is the nuclear fallout, but who knows?
Most likely.
I don't know if that would wipe out the entire...
It probably wouldn't wipe out the entire, just
To wipe out the U.S., possibly Russia, possibly China. I mean, all
It would.
most of the nations that are
It
connected.
would wipe out the major points in each of those places. Because nobody has nuclear weapons that are strong enough to wipe out an entire. Well, not that we directly know of that are strong enough to wipe out everybody in an area like.
But it'd wipe out a lot.
It would wipe out a ton of people, but
and those places would be dangerous to go to for a very long time.
Like the nuclear power plant in Japan, was it, after their tsunamis?
Right.
People can't go there, but that wouldn't be it. It's one of the most likely apocalypses that could happen, but it's not one of the most dangerous.
I mean, granted, a lot of people would die if it were to occur, but it would not wipe out the entire planet.
It isn't. It would be. It's one of the lowest to be considered an apocalypse. It's more of a new world war sort of idea.
Well, you can almost see it as a restart to the world, really, because if you wipe out a bunch of people, then you gotta kind of start over again.
Yeah, if you wipe out those main points, then the lesser known civilizations, governments will rise. Because the main places that will join the fights are Japan, Korea, China, Russia, America,
possibly England.
England most likely, because they try to help people.
I could see Iran joining
the
Syria, most of the
Middle East, and then possibly France and Spain.
Possibly.
But
we really want France on our side.
Spain probably would not join the battle, I don't think, especially like South America area, Mexico, all those, they wouldn't either. So once
I don't think they have any
they don't have any reason
Cuba.
to.
Cuba
might, but we don't know that for sure. And then once the smoke settled and American, Russian, Chinese, Britain, all those governments are gone, places will begin to expand to where they can take control. It'll be sort of like back to the revolutions of the past, where people are trying to take control of places. Mexico, the cartels will probably take control of a lot of places, and then there's any place in Asia and Europe. Those will be the rest of Russia.
Really could be beneficial to the impoverished nations, because then they become I don't know if they'd really be powerhouses, but they would be very much more involved in the global government, the global system, and so their economy would kind of rise up, similar to what's happening to Brazil. That's the reason why the first Olympics in Brazil are occurring in a few years, because Brazil is beginning to rise up in the ranks of the global system. And so if the South American, the Southeast Asia countries, if all the big nations are wiped out, or just not destroyed, but weakened, then it gives the smaller nations a chance to rise up.
There's two big questions, factors that I have no clue about in this sort of situation. It'd be Canada and Australia. Because Canada is it's such a weird place, because there's such little news about Canada. They are actually the friend of the world.
Right.
They have no problem with anybody. So would they take a side, or would they try mediating, or would they stay out of it completely?
I think they just probably well, I don't know. They're in NATO, so therefore they're tied to England, France, the U.S.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is,
could give them a reason
to fight. But at the same time, if NATO starts using chemical weapons too, or nuclear weapons, whatever, maybe Canada wouldn't stick with them.
That's possible. I could see that.
Because maybe Canada's that one place that's like completely with that idea. They're with them because they're with NATO because of the idea that they want to keep peace.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then Australia, because Australia is a weird place.
Australia is completely its own place.
We don't want to attack Australia because if radiation is as bad as it has been thought to be in certain places, we don't want it to be getting to the animals of Australia.
Yeah. We created hundreds of different species.
We may have our differences with each other, but we don't want those creatures getting out.
Yeah. And going back to Canada, I really, like, if this were to occur and they stay out of it, I really don't even think they'd try to become a powerhouse.
They just would happen.
They just, yeah, because, I mean, they're kind of up there, but they're not all the way to the top. And if the top nations are knocked out, then they just kind of fall to the top. Rise to the top.
I could totally see Canada, like, one person coming into power in Canada and realizing how everybody loves Canada because it's such a, like, kind, friendly place, and using that to take over, like, the world or lead people to starting a war, just like, hey, America, you know Russia was talking behind your back, or something like that. But we've got one more apocalypse to talk about, and that's natural disasters. Things like earthquakes or tsunamis, things that we've seen before, hurricanes.
But to a certain extent at which we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, there is nothing to do about those. You just gotta really hope that they don't happen, like the super volcanoes, Vesuvius, Yellowstone National Park. I'm not sure where the other one is, because I'm pretty sure there's 3. I think it's South America, maybe?
Tierra del Fuego? Is that it?
I'm not sure. That's why.
Near Argentina?
I actually don't know. I just know there's another one. But we know that they're not active right now, but since Vesuvius erupted, but it wasn't the full super volcano. It was just one of the hot spots of that volcano. We don't actually know what it would be like if one of them erupted. We know how detrimental it would be to the world, but we don't know what we would see, what the starting factors would be, or anything. It could just happen. Like, we could just wake up one day and the world's being destroyed.
And not only would it just be destroying the world because it's a volcano erupting, but because of all the ash that goes into the atmosphere.
The earthquakes that would come from it, especially like Yellowstone over there, disrupting the fault lines completely.
That'd really mess up a lot of North America if Yellowstone were. Because, one, that place is huge. And also it's, I don't remember exactly where it is. Do you know?
Which one?
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Is it in Washington or?
I think it's further east.
Further east.
I think maybe south of southern Montana. Down.
Yeah, maybe southern Montana.
But I mean that could affect what's the fault line in?
The San Andreas.
I think that's it.
Or am I making that up?
And that could really, if you didn't know this, that California is kind of falling into the.
Yeah, slowly the tides are rising, aren't they? Like in that area, like the water level is getting closer and closer to the land.
But the fault line is pulling half of California down towards Mexico. Very slowly, but it's happening. And I mean, it could speed up that process. Also, the debate of global warming.
Let's not even. No, we're not talking about.
I'm not talking about what the cause is. I'm talking about if it really is happening,
Global warming
the
has been a
ice
thing for
caps
years. It's been going on since
melting.
before the Industrial Revolution, Matthew.
If the ice caps are melting, could cause global flooding, which could wipe out there's a lot of port cities, like New Orleans, really, because it's already mostly under sea level, and so, I mean, it would just wipe out New Orleans and wipe out possibly New York, really. It's right on the water.
Yeah,
And
no, I don't want to talk about global warming. It's stupid. Okay, well, that's all we've got for this episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and please, if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about in future episodes, post that in the comment section down below. Thanks again for watching.
please subscribe.
This is Perspective. Goodbye.